Welcome to Ridiculous Speculation on RiverCity-Media. Super Bowl edition, Friday night. A lot going on, guys. I got it. Reckless speculation. I do it every time. Reckless speculation on RiverCity-Media. I think we got to change the name. But first, I want to make welcome from ASAP. I get his network right. Jonathan Mathis, the sports judge, joining us from LA and the Super Bowl. Welcome aboard, Jonathan.
Hey fellas, how you guys doing? It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on, Randall. I know you've been reaching out to me for some time now to come and do a show, and this is probably the most appropriate time to do this show now that the Super Bowl is here in our backyard. It's great to be here, and hello to everyone else on this panel as well.
Thanks for
Tonight,
showing up.
great
Thanks for
live
coming.
on Marion Messenger. We're streaming live on RiverCity-Media. We're streaming to our new Facebook site, iTunes, Spotify. But if you're listening to us out there, we need Facebook. We need YouTube follows. We just started that page. So slam that like. Give us a little like. And it's ridiculous speculation. I swear that's the name of the show. Jonathan, first question. What is the tone of LA? You're an LA native. You are a Rams fan. What's it like out there right now with the Rams 48 hours from a Super Bowl appearance?
Well, for a long time here in Los Angeles, there wasn't a football team here. So having the Super Bowl here for the first time since 1993, it's kind of new to us, but it brings on a great vibe. People here are excited that a Super Bowl is in this city, that for once Los Angeles is hosting a Super Bowl, and it's just a great feeling. It's really, really hard to say whether or not a lot of people are rooting for the Rams because you guys know what have occurred this season when other teams took over their stadium. Fans from the opposing team, of course, took over the stadium. It's 50-50. You have some Rams fans and then you have some fans rooting for the opposing team, or you have some fans that is really not big on football because for a long time we haven't been an NFL city. We've been more of a college football city. A lot of people out here like USC, UCLA, that's the primary focus when it comes to football. So it's something new. It's something big. It's something nice to see. For me personally, I can say that I love it because I'm a huge sports fan. But I like the atmosphere. I like that the media is here. This is a media-driven city, so a scene like this one is very perfect. And you can't ask for anything better. And for me, it's great because I haven't witnessed a Super Bowl. The last time I've seen it, it was at the Rose Bowl in 1993 when the Dallas Cowboys played the Buffalo Bills. So it's been a long time. And when that Super Bowl was played, I was just a 7-year-old kid. Now I'm a grown man, age 36, and I'm seeing a Super Bowl in a new stadium, a stadium that's just state of the art, and is probably one of the best built in a very long time. It's just a great moment right now for Los Angeles and the sports fans here.
Absolutely, Robbie Davis. First
Yeah,
question out the back.
Yeah, and Jonathan, just that a little bit, just add on to that, and just kind of what the vibe is there. Usually, I haven't been to a Super Bowl, but I've been to like the BCS championship when LSU was playing in New Orleans, or when FSU was playing in the Orange Bowl. Typically, the home fans aren't necessarily as aggressive as the away fans are coming into a new place. So are you seeing more Bengals fans just out and about more, and so the Rams fans laying more low? Or is it a 50-50, or just what's the vibe like out and about?
I would say it's a 50-50 because remember, for a long time, like I said, we haven't had a football team here. So, a lot of people root for different teams here in Los Angeles. I got a few neighbors, for example. One's a Chiefs fan around the corner from here. One's a Steelers fan. One's a Bears fan. They're all over the place. Bears fan. And this city is a huge Raider city. I mean, this is Raider Nation, Los Angeles. So a lot of the fans are not really big on the Rams. It's not it's not the home team for them, you know. So they'll probably most likely be rooting for the Bengals to pull off the upset.
And just a quick follow, and it just occurred to me that the parallels are pretty remarkable. Here in Tennessee, the Titans came in to Nashville, and it was Falcons fans, Steelers fans, Rams fans, Saints fans. The Titans came in. They played in Memphis for a year. They moved to Nashville. First year in Nashville, Super Bowl, caught the whole state's imagination, and now you have a huge Titans fans. I'm interested to see if this Super Bowl, especially being at home, really captivates LA as to being Rams fans now.
Yes, I'm interested to see how that plays out as well because, you know, you got to realize too, LA is also a city that roots for winners. This is a city that will quickly jump on the bandwagon. So if you prove yourself worthy and if you win football games and win championships, there will be a huge fan base behind you. Trust me, that's how LA is. But first and foremost, this is a basketball city. It's Lakers. I mean, they love the Lakers out here. We love the Dodgers. I think the Rams have to earn our respect again after leaving the first time. I think they have to rebuild and rekindle that relationship with sports fans here. And the best way to do it is to win the Super Bowl on Sunday.
James, let's see. Where do you want to lead us to?
Now, you know, to Robbie's point, being a Titans fan, like he said, it did take a big core group of us by storm when they went to the Super Bowl the first year or second year. And, you know, we still have games, though. Like, it takes a really long time to build a fan base. And we still have games where it's 50-50 or, you know, we have opposing fans coming in a little heavier than we'd like, especially for us hardcore fans. So I'm anxious to see, you know, to both of your points, how this is going to really affect them. And, you know, I really think if LA does pull it off, like you said, they are a city of champions. And I think people can jump on super quickly again, but to earn the respect, I mean, that's a mountain to climb in LA.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And when the Rams haven't been here for so long, it really didn't matter. You know, more people out here are big on college football. It's either USC, you either on one side here, you either on USC's bandwagon or you on UCLA. You can't pick or choose, you know, you have to do one or the other. So, I mean, the Rams, they fit in quite well to me from what I've seen. I've seen a lot of tailgates, a lot of Rams fans, but not as many as you would imagine with them coming back. Again, because the Raiders captivate this city, even though they're in Las Vegas. Remember, you know, they're close by too. They're not very far from here. And the Raiders, when I was growing up, they played at the Coliseum. So a lot of people grew up Raiders fans. And now to see the Rams here, they're like, well, what is this team doing in our city? This team doesn't really belong here. They're not really LA's number one team. Well, hey, if they win the Super Bowl, they might be LA's number one team because the Raiders aren't here. Technically,
Hey, Jonathan, I got to ask you a question. Do you know a Chargers fan?
I know two. I know, but not too many. I don't know too many. I don't know a lot. I think we should have stayed in San Diego.
Yeah. It was hard to find Chargers fans in San Diego, much less going up to LA.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
The Rams certainly fit the mold with the, you know, big names and star-studded talent. So I'm anxious to see this game this weekend.
Yeah, and they have a history here as well. Years ago, they used to play in Anaheim. They used to play in Angel Stadium. So they have their fair share of fans, unlike the Chargers. The Chargers, they moved from San Diego. They're AFC rivals with the Raiders, and that don't mix with Raider fans out here in Los Angeles. So, of course, you're not going to, you know, get a huge fan base when you come from San Diego and you're rivals with a team that's very popular in Southern California.
Jonathan, this week you had a unique opportunity to be a Super Bowl embedded reporter virtually.
Yes.
Tell me what that experience has been like. I've even noticed on the NFL Network in the past they had hundreds of reporters around the players. I guess this is for the protection of the players also, but they kept you guys in the media way away. And I know you've done some great interviews online, but it's got to be different.
It was very different. Back in 2018, I covered the NBA All-Star game, so I was in that crowd. It was a media circus. It was a crazy atmosphere. But this was different. You're in your home. You see these guys via Zoom, but you still have communication with them. You're still able to ask questions and stuff. I thought it was a great experience for it being my first time. It was a unique experience. It's one that will always stay with me, one that I will never forget. I was blessed to get that opportunity to sit through the interviews and listen to those guys talk about the upcoming game and ask any question that they wanted to. And it was just a great feeling for me as I continue on with my journey as a podcaster and a sports journalist. It was very fun. I enjoyed the interviews, couldn't ask for anything better. And it helps you write a more effective story when you have those connections and when you're able to actually talk to the player face to face. I know it was virtual, but this is different. And, we live in the world of COVID now, so things have changed. And I think it is to protect the players. But hey, if there's a will, there's a way, and you still had access to these guys. And it was just a great opportunity for me to prosper and continue to grow as I thrive in what is a very competitive business.
And so,
Robbie Davis.
Yeah, on that note, and so I may be completely wrong about this. I don't know. I've never been at any of these events from the media perspective. But so does this virtual world we live in, does that level the playing field more? Like, I would assume that, hey, ESPN, NFL Network, CBS, all your major players have the front row. Does the virtual world really take everyone back to where, hey, it's easier for, people that aren't on the big networks to ask questions, or is it still status quo if I'm even correct on my premise?
Yes. For us, it was very easy being with ASAP. I mean, we're a fast growing network. We're not as popular as some of these mainstream networks. And a few of our guys were able to get some questions in. So I thought it was a great advantage for us. It worked out brilliantly. And we were able to get some questions and get some notoriety. And it was really great for our network. And it helps us build for the future. So, yes, to answer your question, I think it serves a great purpose for websites that's not as mainstream as some of your big dogs like ESPN or Sports Illustrated or NBC Sports or CBS Sports or so forth. So yes, I think with this new virtual experience that we have going on now, I think it benefits those who are trying to get their feet wet and who are trying to get the same opportunities that others have working for mainstream media.
Brendan?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, take us a little bit more into that process. Like, as far as the virtual world, are you guys like in some type of queue, or is it, pre-set questions and times when you ask them, or how does that all work?
Okay, so what you do is kind of like a queue. You're in Zoom, just like you would do a video or something like that, and you have the mute button. You have all these things at the bottom, different options and everything. So what you do, if you want to ask a question, you don't say anything. You have to be in a confined area where there's no noise and all that, and you'll push raise your hand. And when you push that, I guess the PR person in the room or whatever will notice that, and they will call on you, and you just ask the question. If you don't have a question, you don't raise your hand, and they won't see it. So to get your question in, you have to click the button at the bottom, raise your hand, and they will most likely call on you.
Yeah, to Robbie's point, I think that would level the playing field a little bit more
Yes.
in that scenario than, just being ESPN badge in front as media. So that's good. That's awesome. You guys had that opportunity.
Rich Jasper, a friend and fellow podcaster, joining us. All right, Jonathan, we got about 5 more minutes. You got a show with yourself coming on in about 40 minutes. Plug that.
Absolutely, at 6 p.m. It's Just Say the Truth. It's a show that me and my fellow co-hosts do every Wednesday and Friday night. We have a lot of fun there. You guys are more than welcome to tune in. It's at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Central time, 9 p.m. East Coast time. And you guys can find that show on ASAP Network.
All right.
Awesome.
5 minutes.
Hey, if you ever need a guest, I'm always available.
Oh, yes, certainly. I'll tell my guys, and hey, we'll keep you on.
You did an interview with Coach Pitcher.
Yes, I did.
Joe Burrow's quarterback coach. Let's start there.
Yes.
What's your impression of Joe Burrow? What were you able to find out during that interview that you were surprised by?
Well, I'm very surprised that Joe Burrow doesn't need much guidance, that he's able to take on this offense at a very young age on his own without a lot of mentorship. I found that very impressive when I was listening to the interview. Pitcher's job is basically easy with Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow is that guy that came in, he learned the system, he caught on really well, and he's ahead of his time. We all see how mature he is, a little arrogant, a little cocky, but, he has come in and he has taken over this offense, and look where it's gotten them. They ended up in the Super Bowl, so Pitcher went into that a little bit, and he talked about how unique of a quarterback he is. His ability to stretch the field, to make plays, to extend plays. He talked about his ability to extend plays, and he went into a deeper conversation saying that Joe Burrow won't be fazed by this defensive front of the Rams, that he will find ways to elude the pressure, that he can find ways to run and make something happen if the pocket is collapsing, because, of course, you have Aaron Donald on the other side who's a phenomenal pass rusher and is going to do anything he can to get you on the ground, to bring you down. So I think Joe Burrow is mentally tough, according to Pitcher. He knows what this moment is, and he's ready for it. And he's just a resilient quarterback, and one of those quarterbacks who don't give up, and the lights are not too bright for him. He's not terrified of the moment. He just plays the game, and he continues to make things happen offensively.
Robbie, follow up?
Yeah, I guess my only question would be, if Joe Burrow fails, what happened? What happened to make Joe Burrow not be successful in this game?
Well, that's a tough question. Repeat that question.
So, if Joe Burrow doesn't win, when you're looking back on it tomorrow or Monday, what would have happened to make him not win?
What would have happened to make him not win? That's a tough question. I'm struggling with that one. What would have made him happy to not win?
Do you think
so? I guess my question is, or a hypothetical answer would be, does Aaron Donald just dominate so much to where he can't place his foot? Can Jamar Chase not get open? What does it take to slow down Cincinnati's offense that it will stop Joe Burrow when no one in his career has been able to do so in a big game thus far?
You cut in and out.
I think what he was saying,
sorry.
you cut out, Robbie, was what does the Rams do that eliminates Burrow's success?
Oh, That's easy. They just dominating the pass rush. Get to them early because the Bengals offensive line is not that good of an offensive line. We saw that all year. If you look at the stats, Joe Burrow has been sacked the most times in the NFL this season. He's taken a lot of beatings, and he's been sent to the ground constantly. So I think if the Rams can get to him early and put a lot of pressure on him and hopefully make him make mistakes, then yeah, everyone's going to be talking about Joe Burrow's failure in a big game. And that's one way the Rams can help them is with that dominant defensive front that they have. Because remember, you could double team Aaron Donald all you want, but you still got Von Miller out there, a veteran who knows what it takes to win. Remember, this is a Super Bowl champion. This is a guy who's been here before. So I mean, and then you got to remember
MVP of the Super Bowl.
Too. So I mean, you got playmakers in that defensive front that can make it a long afternoon for Joe Burrow. I'm interested to see how he responds to it and how he performs in a game of that magnitude.
All right, Brandon, I guess we'll give you last question, but before we get out of here, one more after Brandon's question. We're going to have a prediction from the sports judge before he gets out of here, Brandon. So ask your question.
Yeah, so I see this matchup similar to the Titans game in the playoffs. So, the Titans on defense did all they could to hold Burrow at bay. Granted, he still threw for almost 300 yards, but we did hold him to 19 points. Mm-hmm. So my question to you, do you think that if Stafford can keep it to one turnover or less and they create the pass rush like we saw the Titans do you think this game or Burrow has a chance to even pull this out?
Yeah, well, hey, look, Cincinnati has been riding this magic carpet all year long. I don't see why they couldn't pull it out. I mean, if this game stays close, it's anybody's ball game. And the Bengals have been resilient all year. And again, nothing ever seems to faze them. So I think when you have a Joe Burrow on the field, someone who is an absolute stud and who can drive his team down the field, yes, certainly you got a chance. You got a chance to beat this Rams team because, look, there's nothing to lose for Cincinnati. I mean, they weren't even supposed to be here. And right. This is a team of underdogs going against a team that was supposed to be here, that everyone is putting their money on. So, yes, to answer your question, I think, yeah, absolutely. I think the Bengals could grind it out in the end, especially if Matthew Stafford makes a mistake. And that's one thing he has to do. He has to play a clean game, in which he has. And I think he will play a clean game. I say that because I think the Rams will establish the run game early. And that would take a load of pressure off of Matthew Stafford, and he will be able to make those plays when needed down the field.
All right, that sets it up for us, Sports Judge. I know you got to get out to another show. Official prediction.
Thank you, sir.
Get out.
No problem. Okay, so my prediction is that the Rams are going to win on a Matt Gay field goal, 24-21. That's my final score. Rams.
Jonathan, thank you for the time, my friend. We will join you later tonight after we finish up on ASAP. We will do this again soon. Maybe we'll get on and talk after the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
A little feedback.
Thanks, you guys. Man. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
I appreciate you guys. This was awesome.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
We appreciate Jonathan. Let me see if I can figure out how to work this now. We appreciate Jonathan joining us. He's a great guy. He's one of those guys that kind of beats the weeds of what I should be doing. He goes out every single day of the week and looks for opportunities to cover sports, write articles, and I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing as the head of RiverCity-Media. So he's somebody that inspires me to get out and get more opportunities. And like I said, he's covered some big name events now, and that's something we all look to do. But it was great just to hear from somebody sitting there at the Super Bowl, Robbie.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's just nice to be like, what's it like? You know, you see, well, especially because what you see on TV, you see ESPN, you see, if anybody watches Fox Sports, like you see those, but that's all prime position. Like to see someone that's down there, like on the grind, or even virtually, like what's it really like? Because I mean, I don't foresee at least either of y'all ever working for ESPN. Me, maybe, but but y'all will always be on the grind down below. And so,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's just a fascinating take.
I thought it was really cool to hear the kind of behind the scenes on how the whole Zoom and the queues work too, and how that actually does level the playing field. Because you imagine yourself as, you know, some guy that just actually somehow got a pass to slide into the room, and you're in the back of the room, you're trying to raise your hand for a question. There's no chance you're getting your number called. But
No,
well, they don't know your name, like you're not. Yeah, it's just like
it's what I'm saying. Like to be in that opportunity to have that setting where it's just somebody in the queue, and they're like, all right, this guy from wherever, and I thought that was really cool and good opportunity for them.
Come back and talk about the game a little bit, but let's sidebar a couple of things. There's a lot that goes on with the Super Bowl, other than the football game. Commercials, halftime show. We'll get to all that. But one of the growing things I think over the last few years has been prop bets. Crazy bets. You can bet on the coin toss. You can bet on how many sacks the Rams will have. You can bet on virtually everything in this game. Quickly, we'll get through this. I thought we would best prop bets from each one of us, and we'll start with you, Brandon. What have you got on the table for best prop bets?
So, best prop bets, I've got 3, and I'm going to go with my first one, and my most solid one is OBJ to score a touchdown at plus 140.
Nice.
That's got great value in it. If you look at the last game, he was targeted 11 times. He was 9 for 11, over 100 yards with a TD. I think he's a big factor with a lot of attention on Cooper Kupp in this matchup, and I don't see how he doesn't find his way into the end zone. Second.
Wait, what was that first one? Sorry, I wasn't taking it. What was it?
The first one was OBJ to score a touchdown plus 140.
Okay, I like it. Trying to get rid here.
Yeah, it's great value. Like I said, I mean, I don't see him not getting in the end zone. My next one, which I've been on the fence back and forth, but I do like the over 48.5. It's at minus 110. We'll call out our picks later, but my numbers lead to over that, so I'm going to roll with that. And then last, for a fun bet, the last 26 out of 28 Super Bowls, believe it or not, even with the rule changes, the opening kickoff has been returned and not a touchback. So the odds there, it's minus 120. I think it's still favorable. Take that. I like it. I mean, the numbers don't lie. So even in a semi-enclosed stadium.
You stole one from me a little bit, but let's realize too, the football that opens the Super Bowl is not a regular kicking ball. It is not like the balls that the players have gotten ready. It is a commemorative ball that's going straight to the Hall of Fame. It has never been kicked in a live game. So to get in the end zone is quite an accomplishment. So there's a prop for like 1,000 to 1 for the opening kickoff to be returned for a touchdown. I like that.
I've never heard that. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It is true. I heard that on one of the sports shows I listened to the other day. So, Brandon, you got one more?
No, that was it. Just the 3.
All right, Robbie Davis.
So I scrolled. I saw about 2 hours of my day today. I spent looking at prop bets. Well, one, somehow I'm an idiot. And it took me about 25 minutes to find out where the prop bets were on Caesar's Rewards. So, but anyway, I found them. I was like, this can't be this hard. But got to them, and I was looking. I was like, please, gambling gods, let there be a under for a COVID positive test for the Super Bowl. That's what I was going for. I was like, yes. I was like, give me 0.5 and I will take the under of COVID positive tests this week. Somehow, all year long, we've had COVID, but now the Super Bowl's coming up and hasn't been mentioned. So kudos, Roger Goodell, for just putting the horse blinders on and just going straight.
It's like the don't ask, don't tell policy.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
I feel fine, Coach. I'm good.
No one's getting tested. We haven't heard a bleep of any COVID, either test or exposure, contact tracing, nothing. It's just been, awesome.
Not even a sneeze in the buildings. So.
Yeah, so I was taking the under on that. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So I like plus 400. LA getting a field goal is the first score. I think McVay's going to come out, put points on the board. I agree with Jonathan. I think the defense, the Rams, is going to give Cincy a lot of problems, especially in the first half. I like LA field goal plus 400. My other one, if the Rams win, they're favored to win. So if Vegas, if it works how Vegas thinks it's going to work, and the Rams win, it's going to be one reason and one reason only. That defensive line has crushed Cincy's weak offensive line, which gives me to Aaron Donald at plus 1,800 for MVP. I really like that bet. When I place my own money on this game, I am definitely putting a chunk of change on Darnold as MVP. Plus 1,800. I like that. I mean, this has got Von Miller, Denver versus Carolina in that Super Bowl kind of feel to it. If he can dominate, it's over, and that's it.
That's funny because I'm going to lead my picks off with an MVP pick too, Robbie. Are you done with yours yet? Is that what? You got another one?
No, I just did two in my.
I'm going to give you Cooper Kupp at plus 700 as an MVP. He's going to have 10 catches. He's going to go over 100 yards. If this is a low-scoring game and he's got one of the two scores that happen, I like Cooper Kupp. Then I got strange with mine, so roll with me. First quarter, even or odd. There's only three outcomes that can come in as even and odd in the first quarter. Even or odd, you can get is the ending score even or odd at the end of the first quarter.
How could there be three?
Is there a tie?
Three outcomes.
I guess you could tie. 0-0.
Scores, three scores.
But that's even.
Follow me. You're not listening. One score is odd. Two scores, every possibility is even. Three scores, everything is even. Except two touchdowns and a field goal or three touchdowns. So in my head, there's going to be two scores in the first quarter. If you say there's one score, it's odd. If you say there's two scores, it's even. Do all the math. I like even at the end of the first quarter at like plus 190. Will they be a scoreless quarter? Plus 300. I like that. No score in the whole quarter. And finally, I'm going to give you two player props. Joe Burrow under his passing total and Samaje Perine over 1.5 receptions. So I have put anywhere from $2 to $5 on all those props right now.
I'm still
Obviously,
confused how there can be three outcomes on even versus odd.
They're either going to be 3 scores, 2 scores, or 1 score. That's all I'm saying. You're thinking I'm meaning odd or even could be. I'm saying either you're going to have 1 score by both teams, 2 scores by both teams, or 3 scores by the combined teams. 3 scores is highly unlikely. 1 score is highly unlikely. 2 scores is my pick.
It's like me at the roulette table. What is 00? I thought it was only red or black.
Yeah. Also, I like heads on the coin toss. Never
I like
play tails
tails.
on the coin toss.
Tails always wins.
So, come on, y'all got to have a crazier one than that. What? Anybody got one? Just throw a crazy one out.
You just hurt my head on that. 3 scores. I think I'm not a big national anthem better. I don't care about that. I don't know. I take the Rams take the timeout first.
I like that one too. I really like someone. I almost like Cooper Kupp to win the MVP too much. I mean, I
think both quarterbacks throw a completion before they throw an incompletion. I think both offensive coordinators get them settled in with a short little wide receiver screen, some short, soft pass to, even though they're both minus, I think 110 or 120. I looked at this morning. I think that's both easy money.
I was shocked Brendan Chain didn't take Matthew Stafford over 0.5 interceptions for negative 160. You've lived off of that one, Shane.
I have, and I'm gonna die by it too. So I'm not gonna call it just because of I want things to go a certain way. So
hey,
I'm staying away from that one.
We went 50 years with no safeties. Then we went, I guess, last year with no safety. That safety bet, they're both plus 800, 850, something like that. What do you guys think about that bet?
I don't see a safe. I mean,
I like the kickoff.
Can there be a safety? Yeah, I like the kickoff return, and I like the first kickoff's not going to be a touchback. I could definitely see a safety with Aaron Donald. You know, if they pin him down deep and he gets through there.
You have one of the worst offensive lines in Super Bowl history against one of the best defensive, not one of the best, but a very solid defensive line.
Top five in the NFL.
This could get not necessarily ugly, but there could be some bad situations where Cincinnati can be put in.
So over on FanDuel, they're offering a prop for sacks by the Rams. Is that one you would take over? I think it's 5 sacks.
Yeah,
probably.
Titans got 9. What did the Chiefs get?
5.5 sacks, I think.
Chiefs had 1.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains why they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right.
Chiefs had 1.
I messed up the odd and even thing and made y'all confused. Let's go on to the next subject. I sent you a list of Super Bowl commercials out that's been released so far. Were you able to see any of them? And I personally am going to tell you right now, already my favorite commercial is Austin Powers.
100% you did not send that out.
I did not get it.
Text.
Not the one that I received.
The text.
Okay. Anyway,
have you been able to see any of the commercials listed all over the internet?
I have not. So why don't you take us away and tell us your thoughts on what your favorite one you think is?
I only watched a couple of them, and there was one, and I'm a huge fan of the movie Austin Powers. And they were, oh, no, I know where it's at. It's on the spreadsheet that you asked me to update.
Oh, okay.
No.
Let us know when you're updating.
I just printed that not too long ago before we started the show.
Because it's on my phone somewhere.
Well, it's a little too late now.
Yeah, I think you're probably looking at group text that we all have. You'll find it there.
Yeah,
but anyway.
All good.
Do you get excited about the commercials?
Do you know how to work Excel?
I love it.
It's in the text here.
No, you just said best prop bets, best commercials. There's no reference to it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
No,
I didn't get
there's
a
no
link to click.
hyperlink.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. No, I do. Randall's asking, do we look forward to the commercials or whatever? And I do. This is one football game that I actually sit down for and actually pay attention and watch the commercials and the halftime show. And
Well, this halftime show is going to be awesome.
This halftime show, I mean, every person of our age, 40 or younger, they're going to go crazy. Like,
I was talking to people in my office, say, like, hey, what are your Super Bowl plans? What do you guys have planned? They're like, you mean the halftime show plans? Like that's what it like to a whole generation. Well, I mean, and like generations is what's amazing. Like, we grew up on Dr. Dre and then some Eminem, and we got younger kids, Kendrick Lamar, and like we got the Snoop. Like, it's a huge, essentially the main part of living America grew up on this halftime show.
Yeah.
And if you have a copy of
40 to 20
2002, you're probably going to enjoy this halftime show.
Yeah. How many boat rides did we take for that?
I'm a Snoop fan, but that's the only person I've even heard of, really. I mean, I know Dr. Dre, but it's not. I will be getting food during the halftime show.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a generational thing. This was after my time. I mean,
it is. I was eating lunch the other day with a client, and we were sitting there. We had a young girl. She was, I think, 20 or 21, and some other person close to us was talking about the halftime show, and like she was like, I don't even know who these people are, or all this. I was almost heartbroken. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, how have you not heard of it?
The people in their late 30s, this is like prime, just chop. This is what especially hip hop music was, but basically music for our childhood and now adulthood, and like
yeah.
I've heard people your age be very excited about it in the older and younger crowd, especially some younger. Now I love Snoop. He's a cultural icon. Snoop being at the Super Bowl is. I go back to Prince playing the Super Bowl in Miami a few years ago. It's a cultural icon. But Mary J. Blige, I had to Google who she was. I mean, I'll be honest.
Well, I will give you. I will go along with you on this, Randall. Watching Ice Cube in the Coliseum for the NASCAR race, no one knew what that music was, and I was like, "Oh man, like I can't be that old." But there were people just dancing to the beat, didn't know the words, and so it'll be interesting. I mean, it is LA. It's still Dre. It's still Snoop, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick. Well, one, it's going to be a fantastic show. Whether you know the music or not, it's going to be fantastic.
Right.
So, Randall, yes, please stay in your seat. Watch the halftime show.
So here's some of the commercials that's released, just to let y'all know. Austin Powers cast reunites for a GM ad. So the original cast of Austin Powers will have their reunites. Evidently, Amazon has spent a ton of money on Alexa the Mind Reader.
With Scarlett Johansson.
Yes, with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan for Planet Fitness. Budweiser commercial with Oscar-winning filmmaker Chloe Zhao. Megan Thee Stallion snacks on flaming hot Doritos. Sally sells seashells by the seashell, and that's supposed to be the big one. I'm just excited about Austin Powers. I love that movie. I want to see Mini-Me and the whole cast. I see who they have back in that movie.
I think. Go ahead.
Overall, I'm not a huge. I mean, I thought they were funny. I think Doritos had a good run, and I can't remember who, Pepsi maybe.
Budweiser was the best.
Yeah, Budweiser was really good, 10 years ago. I thought over the last 5 years, it's just kind of been, I mean, they try very hard, but I don't think that, I think I just don't think there's enough creative marketing and what do you get from that one day? Like, can you hit it out of the park? If you can't hit it out of the park, then it's just kind of lame. And so I haven't walked away in the last few years being like, oh gosh, that was a great commercial.
The last one that I really remember that struck me was during the Gulf War with the Budweiser commercial with the Stallions in, I think, 2099. It's the only commercial I think I've ever cried for. So I know y'all are little kids, but 12, 14, 15.
No, I agree. I love Budweiser. Always did it really, really well. So
go
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was like, so what do you guys think? Who wins the weekend as far as advertising goes? Let's say it's Budweiser or Doritos or Domino's, whatever it is. Them spending $3 million on advertising, or Mattress Mac gambling $5 million and getting that advertisement and possibly winning $5 million. I think he's got it down. I think he's doing a better job than commercials would be.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, he's got an upside, a little bit higher there probably. But you're looking at these major companies, whether they're going to spend, probably not even a fourth of their marketing budget for this one commercial. Some of them maybe more. But yeah, you got to kind of knock it out of the park if you're getting this kind of play time. And I totally agree. Mattress Mac just out of nowhere. I mean, it's getting all these hits and buzz from, just like he did in the World Series. I mean, he put 5 or 10 million on Houston,
and he could get it back if his bet wins.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, that's
what I'm saying is reckless speculation should make a big bet on the Super Bowl.
I'm winning one of the $1 million DraftKings.
We're taking donations right now.
Randall will put it in ridiculous speculation. Won't be able to collect.
Yeah.
We'll have the LLC in the wrong name.
Hey, that's the reason we need
checks
LLC.
written to the wrong name. Can't cash.
All right, guys. It's time to get to the game. Let's start with one thing. If you break these teams down, I've watched nonstop, tired of looking at it. We've got a couple of things that's going to affect the game, I think, heavily. Let's start with, it seems that Tyler Higbee is being declared very unlikely to play. I think we go into the game with CJ, their tight end, Osamanzuma, whatever you pronounce it, very unlikely to play. Do those two, my first two thoughts would be, that's huge pieces of both teams' offense is missing. I guess that was my first storyline. Brandon, what was your first thought when you started breaking down this game?
So yeah, if Higbee's out, I mean, that's a big key part of the Rams offense. I think they could, Sean McVay is one of the greatest minds on the offensive side.
Your twin brother.
In quite some time. Yeah. So giving myself a little props here. But I think he'll come up with a way to, kind of combat that if Higbee's out. I mean, like we said, we've talked about this. The Rams have sold out. This is all or nothing. And I think you'll see a little bit more maybe chips off the running backs to, counteract, maybe run the drag route or the out route that in place of Higbee to kind of fill those voids. If that happens, but who knows? I mean, you've got a brilliant mind on that offense, and it's got them this far. So why would you doubt them now?
Robbie, what was your initial thoughts of breaking down the game?
So this is a game of I don't want either team to win. The Bengals beat the Titans this year in the playoffs, since I don't like them. Now I'm still pissed that the Rams beat the Titans back in '99. I don't like them either. So it's just a bitter game for me. Every time we have seen this matchup in the NFL, the defensive ends that can get to the quarterback win. And I can't get away. As much as I want to say, hey, Joe Burrow doesn't lose big games, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I can't remember the other guy's name, but it's like they were all on my fantasy team, by the way, and we didn't do very well. But
you lost big games.
That's a power offense. But if you can't block, and then all of a sudden you have to shift tight ends in, and you have put tight ends in for protection. Then you got Jalen Ramsey. I'm not sure he can cover Chase one-on-one, but he can go to Higgins one-on-one, and then you double up on Chase, and then you limit what the Bengals can do on offense.
Robbie, to that point, it seems the Rams have indicated that despite not traveling with a receiver all year, Jalen Ramsey will travel with Jamar Chase in the Super Bowl. Normally, Jalen Ramsey lines up on the left side of the offense and plays the left side of the field. Now It seems like they're going to travel him with Jamar Chase.
I think they'll try that, but I don't think they're going to stay on very long. I don't care. Ramsey's a great quarterback. Chase is a great receiver, and the rules favor the offense. So you can throw short, jump into it, and that's a 40-yard gain. Like, I just don't like that idea. As great as Jalen Ramsey is. Shane, go ahead.
Well, to be like, the Rams are one of the worst man-to-man defenses out there, secondary-wise. Like, they haven't played it hardly at all year, and I don't see – like, there's a lot of speculation just because of the big names that, Ramsey, Chase, you're going to see this, or Higgins. You're going to see some man, but their overall scheme, I mean, they play a zone or a cover two man. I don't see, Ramsey being on an island out there. I mean, why change up what you've been doing all year? Especially statistically, you're not very good at it.
McVay learned that last time when he played against the Patriots. Like, he tried to get cute and got embarrassed. And so just do what you do now. Like, you created this team, and hey, take the more talented team to the field and play your game.
Exactly. Don't get out of your own lane. Stay in your lane. Stay in what got you here. There's no reason to change just because the media or whatever is forcing this matchup.
I post that on the billboard every fantasy football draft. Stay in your lane, do what great at.
So back to that then. If the Rams do stay in their standard base, who that does – so in the first two games of the playoff, Tyler Boyd was basically unheard of. But if the Rams stay in a two-deep zone and play zone with the tight end out, you would think Tyler Boyd becomes a huge part of this game plan because he's going to get coverage from a safety or a linebacker. Now you've got your best matchup probably in the slot, just like the Rams do. Could you see a little bit of the same things with Cooper Kupp, Tyler Boyd over the middle, trying to create space for Odell Beckham and Van Jefferson down the field? Because I think that's the key to me, is getting Odell Beckham the ball down the field at this point. Could the slot be the key to the game?
It can, and I think it's more for the Rams because I don't think Burrow's going to have enough time or to go through the progressions quite like Stafford will. I mean, he's going to be running for his life back there, in my opinion. I don't see that being a factor. You're looking at a third or fourth option typically with this guy. I mean, possibly on a slant route with Boyd over the middle. I don't see Tyler Boyd being a huge factor here, like Cup. I mean, Cup, he's a different type of guy. Like, he pushes corners off their spot. Like, corners have a spot that they play within, and they make their moves. And when you are that talented a receiver and you push them off their spot, then I mean, you're wide open for your option routes, and you just are basically toying with them, and you can take them in and out or back, or whatever you want to do. And he's a master at that. We've all seen that. So although Boyd is he's a taller guy, he's got great hands, he's a good athlete. I mean, I don't see anything of comparison with Cup in the same sentence, personally.
Yeah, I remember recency bias. I remember 2 wide receivers getting that open that often. One was Randy Moss, who you can't cover, and then the other is Cooper Kupp, who McVay designed schemes for him. No, he's great. He's fast. Nothing to slide on him. But McVay designed schemes for him where he's always wide open. And so, yeah, I'm going to trust that.
Yeah. Well, he designed schemes to keep, even when he's supposed to be having help over the top on the safety.
Yeah.
McVay will send a post route or a deep dig coming back to cover at the top to make that safety roll with him. So the Cooper gets one-on-one, pushes a corner off a spot, and gets wide open. I mean, you see it all day long. So that goes back into, the mindset of McVay and how smart he is to come up with these schemes and plays, even with those kind of coverages and defenses to break Cup open and still somewhat get him one-on-one.
So before we move on with the Rams, I want to talk about the Bengals in a minute, but the Rams did activate Devery Henderson today. Akers, Sony Michel, Henderson all look like they're going to be active for the Super Bowl. If you're playing DraftKings or something like that, it's a crapshoot to play one of the Rams running back. And Cam Akers with his fumble issue, and I feel like Sony Michel is the least talented of the 3 backs. Is there a way they bring Henderson off the bench after not playing in weeks and he's the lead back in the Super Bowl? No way, right?
I don't see it. I mean, Sony Michel actually was a saving grace for them trading. And I mean, he really stepped in and played really well and helped them out in the run game. Cam Akers being back, he's minus the fumble issues. He's still Cam Akers. I mean, he's doing great. Again, this game, it's such a tight game. Even Vegas has it set as a tight game. It's going to come down to turnovers. It always does. And, if the Rams can play a clean game on paper, I mean, they should win this hands down.
Yeah, I agree. You play who you're most comfortable with protecting the football in this game, because the worst thing you can do in a Super Bowl or in a big game is turn the ball over. So who you think protects the ball the best, that's who you're going to play. You don't bring out possible breakout stars if they don't protect the ball, because a risk reward is not worth it. You want to play your game and your parameters, how you design the game. You don't design the game for 60-yard touchdowns. You design it for first downs, pick up the sticks, ball control, and that's what you stick with. Because if you gamble and you lose, you don't get here very often. And as Titans fans know, and as Falcons fans know, losing sucks and it hurts.
It does. But to your point, I also don't think coaches need to overthink the situation just because you're on a big stage. Like, I think you have to stay, like I said, stay in your lane. I'm going to say that till I'm blue in the face here, but you've got to play the same game that got you there and stick with your game plan. They've had 2 weeks to prep.
That's what McVay did the first against Belichick the first time. McVay went crazy and overthought everything, and they got blown out. And it's like, what were you doing? Like, play your game. Like, that's Belichick does that to a lot of coaches, but McVay just totally collapsed, and it was just. And I think he's learned from that because you never lose. You either win or you learn. And I think
exactly. And he's a smart enough guy. You're exactly right. It's well said. You win or you learn for sure.
Yeah.
So Robbie, before we go to the Bengals too, you being the resident gambling expert, what does the general public bet on Tennessee? They got covered tomorrow.
Speculation.
That was the most reckless speculation that's been said. The gambling expert.
What is the movement in the line tell us about where the money's been going? Initially, the Rams started going up, got up to 4.5. Everybody's saying it's going to go to 5. Now it's settled back down with the Bengals at 4. Did that early money go on the Rams, and then when that number got too high, came back to the Bengals?
So a couple of things. One, it's a West Coast team. A lot of those numbers are coming from Vegas still, not necessarily online gambling. So you have West Coast, hometown. You also have, so that was the initial line. Then you had the mattress guy dropping $9 million on the Bengals, which is going to swing it. I think this is a pretty steady line, actually. It's moving a point and a half, but you have an all-star team versus an underdog team. I think that the line stayed pretty consistently. We're not getting into our bets yet, but nothing that I've seen right now alarms me as far as how the line's moving. There's no injuries. There's no COVID tests. Weird. Everyone's available. So I think it's just there's probably going to be an influx of money again before maybe tomorrow or something. There's going to be money to float it both ways. But yeah, Mattress Mike or Mattress Mac, whatever his name is. Dropping $9 million definitely will swing a line.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I was just going to say the sharp money is still kind of out there, hadn't came in. The public obviously is on the Rams. That's how Vegas said it. I think Mac did swing the line a little bit with his bet, and that's what caused it to come down. So I'm anxious to see Sunday morning. That's when you're going to kind of see a little bit more come in. So,
just side note, has anyone heard? I don't know the answer to this. Has anyone heard? Are the Rams getting 3 points for being home, or is this just a neutral field kind of thing?
I haven't heard anything on that. Have the Rams been at home all year? Really? I mean,
this is all this is not away team money. This is corporate money. This is going to be a silent crowd. There will be some Bengal fans in the upper deck, but lower deck, it's going to be a quiet crowd.
Having been to a Super Bowl once, not like I've been 20 times, I would say 50% of the people at the Super Bowl that I was at was probably their only football game of the year. They were an incredibly large amount. The person I went to worked for one of the networks that got me the ticket, and they were people there that I felt confident weren't football fans, but were there for the media speculation. So I don't see that the Rams will. I actually think the Bengals may have more fans in the stadium than the Rams at this point. I think Cincinnati's a travel
fans. Yeah. Fan fans. I agree with you, but being in LA, you're going to see all the superstars there. It's going to be big names everywhere in the suites, all that. But I agree as far as hardcore football team fans, you're probably, especially LA being new there, you're going to see more Bengals fans, especially. What's it been? 30-something years since they've been.
I don't even think this was like Tampa playing in Tampa last year.
Not even close.
I think Tampa probably had a home field advantage by playing the Super Bowl in Tampa. I don't see that in LA. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's one of the things I want to see as soon as the game starts. I want to see how much red and black's in that stadium, how much blue and gold is in that stadium. What's it look like?
Yeah. I think it's more neutral. I don't see Rams getting a big advantage from the crowd per se.
You're
playing on that field.
Ridiculous talk about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But no, you're actually watching reckless speculation. I'm still not over my back injury, so if I'm moving in and out of sight, please bear with us. But we do need you, while Robbie Davis is getting a drink, to like, follow, and smash that. Just if you're on Facebook, follow us. We really need YouTube followers. You can find all of our backlog of media on iTunes and Spotify. Please follow Reckless Speculation. It's all listed under 3R's Media, 3R's Media Sports. So I think it's a little confusion to a couple of people, but it is. If you will go under iTunes, 3R's, you will find all of the shows, including Outlaw X, the music show, which is in syndication again in the Eastern Bloc. I don't know how, but we have a radio station in like Prague that replays that show. So I have no clue. But Robbie, you're back. I want to start with talking about the Bengals. I am convinced, as many people has told me over the last year, that Patrick Mahomes is the next GOAT or baby GOAT. This person is the greatest. This one's the best quarterback. Joe Burrow is put together differently. I think he's put together more like Montana. I don't know that Joe Burrow has the greatest tools that a Patrick Mahomes does. But Joe Burrow figures out a way to win football games, and he's a different kind of cat. Let's start there. At his time at LSU and now in the NFL, Joe Burrow, is his mental makeup his strongest suit, Robbie?
Yeah, so I want to be careful not to exaggerate comparisons. But what I want to illustrate is a possibility. The same way we talk about Brady and Aaron Rodgers, that Aaron Brady's the greatest winner, but Aaron Rodgers may be much better than him at actual talent. Right?
Well, let's stop there.
Wait, hold
Aaron
on.
Rodgers, Peyton Manning is much more of a, you put them together a lot more than you do Brady. But to me, you put Brady in a category with maybe Terry Bradshaw that won 4 Super Bowls, went to 6. They're just winners, or Joe Montana that's winners.
Yeah, so I'm getting there. So maybe, and this is, speculation and very reckless that we're doing it.
And ridiculous.
Perhaps Patrick Mahomes is that Aaron Rodgers, and Joe Burrow could be that Tom Brady. Like, I'm not as gifted as you are, Patrick Mahomes, but I know how to win. Look, it's always bothered me, for whatever reason, that Patrick Mahomes went to Texas Tech. And I get it. Like, there are diamonds in the rough, but he was that gifted always. Like, you don't learn to throw the football once you get to the NFL. Like, he had that. Something was weird. He paired with Andy Reid, got it. But yeah, so it very well could be that Patrick Mahomes is to Aaron Rodgers it's been a long time taking the SAT, but so Patrick Mahomes to Joe Burrow is what Aaron Rodgers is to Tom Brady. There it is. That's what it is. So, like, talent does not necessarily mean winning, and that could be the difference.
Yeah, to your point, I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. Now, he has had
reckless speculation.
Well, I'm gonna try to make it not so reckless.
Joe Burrow has done it at another level
He did.
He's one of the few. I think if he wins,
You
if he wins
also
the
look
Super
at
Bowl,
the
he becomes the second man ever to win a Heisman Trophy, a national championship, and a
right.
Super Bowl.
I mean, you look at the talent around him and what he had at LSU. I mean,
Jamar
they're
Chase.
all NFL players. Yeah, but he still has to prove it, and this is the big stage. This is the game, and I know Jonathan Mathis was talking about how calm and collected and he is, and he's not too big for these lights or whatever. But this is the biggest stage he's ever been on. Now, the progression of this season has led to that. They've had a Disney super ending story, or however you want to call it. I mean, it's been unbelievable. It seems like destiny.
Have they not been behind in all three playoff games at some point?
Yeah, they have. And again, on paper, the matchup for them is favored because if you look at especially the Rams, they usually get up big and then they somehow can turn it around and let teams back in it. If they mess around with Burrow, I think there's a chance if it's close in the fourth quarter. I mean, I can see that will to win, and like you said, just winners coming in, and Burrow could pull this out. Now, I think McVay's plan is he needs to be up, midway through the third quarter. He's got to be up, 27-17 or something.
I can see this also being the John Elway scenario where, hey, he's a great quarterback. He doesn't have a team around him. He doesn't have a defense around him. This is not Burrow was cocky, confident. Confident, I guess is a better word. I've been in SEC stadiums. But there's nothing like this. There's nothing at all like this stage. And generally the better defensive teams and the better overall teams win because this is a huge deal.
Yeah, I totally.
I'd also want to address. I think clearly Cincinnati's biggest advantage on offense. I think these receivers groups are both elite, probably in the top three in the NFL themselves, each one of them, with Kupp, Beckham, Jefferson, and Chase, Higgins, and Boyd with the tight ends, whichever one plays. But I think the Bengals have a clear advantage at the running back position. I think Joe Mixon is the best running back by a long spread. If you're the Bengals, Robbie, do you want to slow it down with Mixon and run the ball?
No, because you want to keep the defensive ends tired. So it's going to be, can you pass the ball and can you get time? And if you can keep them in run and speed up the offense, just these little dink and dunks, you want the defense to be tired. I think if you run the ball, I think you're playing into the Rams' strength. I don't necessarily like that occasional run, but no, I think the over-under was Mixon 62.5, something like that. I think he goes under. I think it's going to be hey, we've got the best quarterback. Whichever team believes that, they're the ones that are going to win the game.
Yeah, and if you look back at the Chiefs game with the Bengals, they tried to slow the clock and they tried to run it in the first half, and it didn't work out so well for them. Now they made some adjustments, which actually passing the ball more in the second half, and it opened up the run game. The Mixon actually started, getting some things going. But I don't think you need to come into this game with trying to be a balanced offense or run the ball, slow the clock. Even as great as pass rush this defense is, I mean, they're pretty good at stopping the run as well. So I can see, the flow of the game going. I think, like I said, I like the over. I think it's going to be a lot more passing on both sides than run, for sure.
It's going to be a hell of a game.
So-
I mean, it's like the NFL very rarely lets you down, and you get 2 weeks to prepare. These coaches are brilliant. Like these this is what they do. Like it's going to be fantastic.
It is. And has the NFL yet to disappoint throughout this entire playoffs?
No.
Wild card weekend was
Oh.
whatever, but
And
after
you know
that,
what?
it has been fantastic.
I can't wait till we talk about the baseball strike in the next couple of shows. NFL we'll get a whole second league and dominate that window also.
Yeah.
That's a perfect lead in. Before we get to our predictions, which I think we're going to have some different ones here, I really think we're going to split on predictions. I wanted to ask each one of you, and I know you're both Titans fans, and you might be the Titans playing in the Super Bowl. What's your favorite Super Bowl memory? It doesn't have to be your favorite team. It doesn't have to be. What's your favorite Super Bowl memory?
Yeah, what's in the Titans, the 1 yard line with Dyson, that's for sure.
That's a bitter memory. I can see it in your eye. Is there one that you enjoy?
So
Jay?
another one of, I wouldn't say I enjoy, but a boneheaded play that I was just a fan of football watching. I didn't care who won the game. Super Bowl 49. I think they were the 2 yard line or 1 yard line. Seahawks versus Patriots. Wilson, instead of handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, who's been a juggernaut all game, they attempt to throw a slant route to Tyler Lockett, which Malcolm Butler jumps the route. He was double covered. Malcolm Butler was free and picks it off. And that was just like a jaw-dropping moment that I will never forget. Like, I can't believe that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, coaches tend to overthink things sometimes in these high-pressure situations.
Worst decision ever in football.
That was the worst decision ever in football. Like, I mean,
that was third down. Correctly,
it was third down.
Yeah,
you had two chances to run Marshawn, who's been running all over the field all night. You're on the 2 yard line. I mean, it just that Super Bowl memory and play will forever stick in my mind.
If you're a fan of the show The League, the next couple seasons later, they're on the beach with Marshawn Lynch, and the guy's like, "I want a beer. I'll throw it to you, Marshawn." He's like, "I can walk it over there to you, man. It's no big deal. All I just got to do is get up and walk it to you." He goes, "No, throw it to Marshawn." So he throws him the beer, and when he throws the beer, he goes to catch it. He falls in a pit of fire and burns up. So I thought that was appropriate.
Yeah,
Robbie,
it's pretty much what happened.
do you have a favorite Super Bowl memory?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite Super Bowl memory. It's all been pretty heartbroken. And I know, so I guess if I had to say one that stands out to me, all my Tennessee alum fans are going to get mad at me, but the Saints onside kick against Indy to give that city a Super Bowl.
The Colts were dominating that game.
Even though it was against Peyton Manning, and he had already won one though, and he solidified his Super Bowl championship. But the Saints to get that ball and win that game, and for that city at that time, that's just one of my hey, a city can rise again and get the team back. Because if you remember, they were tempted to go to San Antonio and to come back to New Orleans, a great city, and to reestablish their fan base there. That's probably what I remember most about the Super Bowl. And then obviously we've grown up in the Patriots Super Bowl, so it's been Tom Brady. We have a few. We have the Manningham catch, and then we have
what was it? Sorry, go ahead. those.
Oh yeah,
those
we
websites.
have a few of those, but I mean it's been pretty much monotonous. There was the Antonio Holmes or San Antonio Holmes catch.
San Antonio Holmes, yeah, it's for
Yeah.
Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a lot. It's been the same teams, but I think the Saints winning that one. And I'm a Titans fan, and so I never wanted Peyton even though I love Peyton, I never wanted him to win because he was a Colts, and then so once he left Tennessee, I never rooted for him, and so that's our own little kind of vindication of somehow he should have got to Nashville.
How did Eli Manning win 2 Super Bowls? Though?
My favorite
Can I
was
ask that
Peyton Manning
question?
in 2007.
That is
Peyton had
crazy.
been in the league
Again,
for 10 years.
both against Bill Belichick.
I know, against Tom Brady. How did
Yeah.
he win 2 Super Bowls? He was
So
the worst 2 Super Bowl quarterback I've ever seen.
If Roethlisberger don't win his 2, Eli doesn't win his 2, Peyton don't win his 2, Brady's got like 12 now. But also one that's overlooked, I think, in my mind is Reggie White winning the first Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. Reggie had been in the league a long time, had went to Green Bay trying to win a Super Bowl, and there's this moment, I had a poster of it when I was younger, or Reggie grabs the Super Bowl trophy and he basically does a lap around the Superdome holding the Super Bowl trophy up. That's one. The Falcons blowing a 28-3 lead, that's another one. But let me tell you the most, I think I'm 55 years old. This is Super Bowl 55. I have watched every Super Bowl and have some memory of every Super Bowl since Super Bowl III. I remember Joe Namath winning the Super Bowl. It was national news. I was 3 years old. The next year, the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. It was national news. I have grown up with the Super Bowl. I have all these great memories of the Super Bowl, and it wasn't what it is today. It was more of just a normal season championship. And I've been able to watch the Super Bowl grow up in my lifetime from a $12 ticket to a $5,000 ticket. I've always took pride, and I'm the exact same. You can tell how old I'm turning in September by the Super Bowl. I believe this is 56. I turned 56 in September. So it's Super Bowl is special for me. It's better than any championship game. Not better than the basketball tournament, but single championship game. Winner takes it all, one win. There's nothing like the Super Bowl to me.
Well said.
That brings us to the end of the show and the point we're going to talk about. Let's make some prediction, and I'm going to go first and hand it around. I'm not doing this because I believe I'm going to be different than everybody. I think the most underrated unit on the field come Sunday is the Bengals defense. They are so no name, so underrated. I think the Bengals defense has an ability to be aggressive and to make plays. I think Matthew Stafford has the ability to turn the football over. I think it's a game that goes late. I think it's an under game, and I think somebody makes a play late to win the football game. If you tell me this is a touchdown game in the fourth quarter, I'm taking Joe Burrow over Matthew Stafford. So money line, just a winner's pick. Give me the Bengals to win the game. Brandon Jane?
I don't necessarily disagree. I think the Bengals defense is underrated. I mean, there's a couple of names on there that you could call out: Eli Apple, Sam Hubbard, Von Bell. Yeah, I think Von Bell had the interception on Mahomes.
Chattanooga area too. Two representatives, one for Fort Payne and Evan McPherson, the kicker from the Bengals, and Von Bell from Ridgeland High School. So
yeah, and I also named all three.
Tennessee.
Also named all three Buckeyes that are on the Bengals defense. By the way, anyway, no. Again, we've talked about this earlier. When you get in these type of games, especially this game, defense typically wins the matchup. Although the Bengals do match up better on paper than probably they have any other team they've played in the playoffs. I think the Rams pull this off. Again, if Stafford can keep it to one turnover or less. But I've got the Rams 31-27. Take the over 48.5. That's right at the 4 line. So, if it jumps to 4.5, maybe take the Rams on that. 3.5, but I don't think it's coming down. You could push it with the Bengals if it goes 4.5 or 5, but I think it's going to be right where Vegas has it, and I think it's going to be over though.
Robbie Davis, are you going to be smoking a cigar with me when the Bengals win?
So the Rams beat this team, I'm sorry. The Rams built this team to beat Kansas City. They did a damn good job at it because they've got Jalen Ramsey, Arnold, and Miller to attack the weaknesses. They're not facing Kansas City. They're facing a weaker version of them. Although Kansas City beat them in the playoffs, they're still not as good as they are. I do not see how Joe Burrow gets enough time to pass the ball. I think it's Sack City. I think Darnold's the MVP. I just don't see how he has enough time to throw the ball in this game. They have weapons, but they don't have time. A weak offensive line, it's a strong defensive line. It's almost undefeated. Rams win. They cover. I take the Rams by 7.
Nice.
Well, I'm living on an island out here. I'm on Jalen Ramsey Island. So I don't know why.
He will not be on
the
an
Bengals
island.
game. The Bengals feels like the Braves to me. Like it's just a championship run that's destiny. So, all right, guys, we'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll talk about it. We're also going to talk about the baseball strike and lockout. Also, we're going to start getting ready for just around the corner March Madness.
NASCAR.
Robbie, have you got your teams lined out for the March Madness bracket yet?
So I'm going to Knoxville tomorrow. I'm going to stay there Saturday and then up till Tuesday for the Kentucky game. And then we'll see. I cannot wait for the March Madness selections show. It's gonna be great. Pretty good. I'm gonna knock this one out of the park.
All right. Did anybody notice that Raj never showed up?
Who's Rob?
Who's Raj? I do want to thank Jonathan Mathis. If you want to join him, they're just coming on the air over on the ASAP network.
So, hey, and subscribe and follow, guys.
Yep, please like, share, subscribe, follow, tell everyone.
Reckless speculation.
We are reckless.
We're trying not to get sued.
Under 3Rs Media. We definitely need you on YouTube. So, final words, Robbie Davis. What do you got?
Man, it's Super Bowl weekend, man. It's gonna be awesome. Look, you can say what you want, but the NFL does not disappoint. It's entertainment at its finest. I'm gonna be watching it from Knoxville, in my apartment by myself. But that's all I ever want. All you want is just to watch it. Like, I guess you can watch it with friends or by yourself. Like, this is the mecca of sports entertainment. And good God, what is the NBC Olympics doing? How much do they pay for this contract? And there's no one's watching it. It's silly. But
what's your go-to food on Super Bowl Sunday, Robbie?
Do not my go-to food. I'm probably gonna be getting ordered out, so I'll probably just grab Thai food or something. So it's just not very Super Bowl-ish, but I'm not a wing guy myself.
All right, Brandon Chain.
Yeah, this, like Robbie said, one of the greatest weekends of the year. Monday should be a national holiday. I don't know why anyone should have to work after the Super Bowl. It's just ridiculous. So can we please,
Do you give your workers off, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm not working on Monday.
But you give your workers off.
I mean, yes. Anyway, they do. Yeah, so it's going to be exciting. I can't wait for it. I think Joe Burrow's fantasy land is over, and now don't get me wrong, he's going to be a generational talent and change the game for sure. The Bengals are going to be here a while. Like you said earlier, Randall, they're not supposed to even be here right now. So to even get to this point, I think it's great. Rams sold out for this. It's their home. Well, it won't be really a home field, but I'm just excited. And take the over 48.5 and the kickoff return on the first play.
Hopefully none of my employees are watching because they'll want time off tomorrow or Monday also.
I should have put in a vacation day. For Randall Cunningham, Robbie Davis, Brandon Chain, we are Ridiculous Speculation. We'll be back Wednesday.
God damn it.
I do it on purpose. You know that, right?
Reckless speculation.
And we'll be back on Wednesday at 9 o'clock sharp with Ridiculous, Reckless Speculation.
We're trying to get T-shirts here, man. We need a common theme.
We don't know.
We don't know what we're doing tomorrow. Thank you, and see you next week.